Hello, hello, good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art, and we are here today looking at the new March-April catalog from Close to My Heart that has just gone live on the website today. And it's exciting. Not only do we have the catalog going live, but we have Cardstock Carnival going live today. And so that is always something that everybody looks forward to every year. And so if you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can say replay. And if you comment on the video as we're going along here, then you're going to get your name into a draw for the door prize. So that's exciting. I see Joanne is watching. Hello, hello. And so we're going to be delving into this catalog. I'm just giving everybody a few seconds to find the link and join on. Hey, Deborah, good evening. What a great, fun way to spend your Friday evening. I hope you're relaxing, got your comfy clothes on. Maybe you've had your supper or you're eating while you watch, and have a nice beverage to keep you hydrated. Maybe even a notepad and a pen in case you want to write down some ideas or things like that. And if you have your catalog already, I know a lot of the VIPs made sure that they ordered after the 15th of February so that they got their catalog in the mail. And so if you have your catalog, grab it and you can follow along with me as we flip through and take a look at all of the new goodies. Now, I am sad to announce that this will be the final catalog from Close to My Heart. And so that's sad, but our founder and CEO, Jeanette Linton, has decided that now is the time for her to retire. And so she is wrapping things up with Close to My Heart. And so we are going to be off on new adventures. We will see what the future has, but we'll continue here at Life is Art to keep working on crafty stuff. If you're like me, you have stuff in your stash to keep you crafting for many a day, even if we can't jump into a catalog and find some new goodies. But tonight we do have a catalog to jump into, so let's get started. We have this fun catalog, March-April 2024, and it has a gorgeous cover on it. If you haven't seen the cover yet, of course, obviously, because it went live today, the catalog is available to look at digitally on the Close to My Heart website, and I have posted a link for that already earlier today. And if you are doing some shopping, I will just put this out there. If you're doing some shopping today and you notice that something says unavailable, don't worry. If it's in the new catalog, it's pretty likely that when you click onto the item a second time, it'll tell you that it's coming in March 2024. So they haven't got all their full orders yet for everything. And so don't panic. There will be opportunity, hopefully, to get your order in. I know just because everything is kind of winding down, people are pretty eager to get their orders in. So some things are out of stock from this new catalog, and that's okay. They're coming back. We hadn't got all our full orders in yet. Good evening, Shannon. Howdy, howdy. And if you are somebody who likes watching YouTube, be sure to check out Shannon Keith at Creative Chaos in Tennessee. She's one of our crafty community members, and she's got some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff that she makes. All right, so let's get into this. You can see that this front cover has some fun travel stuff, and we're going to see that as we flip through. I love the bold colors on it. I love all the layering that's happening, some stamping in the background, lots of fun things. I like this color combination. And if you flip into the catalog, you're going to see the message from Jeanette Linton, the founder and CEO of Close to My Heart. Now, there's information about becoming a maker. You can still become a maker until, I believe, No, I think the time has ended. I think it was until the end of February that you can still become a maker. I'm not sure why you'd want to at this point, but um, so VIPs can continue to earn their 15% shopping credit right up until the end of April, and you can purchase off my website right up until the last day of April. After April, so during the months of May and June, if you're putting any orders in, they will go directly onto the closetomyheart.com website, and you'll order directly from the main area. So all the makers will be retiring on April the 30th. All right, now turning the page, we have our Operation Smile stamp set. You have seen me use this quite a bit. It is a fabulous stamp set. It's very usable. You can use it for lots of things and occasions and layouts and cards. And the wonderful thing about this is that Close to My Heart donates $7 US to Operation Smile for every stamp set that is purchased of this Your Smile stamp set. And so this has been available all year. It's still available. So if you haven't got your copy yet, you'll want to do that. Then we have some information about our cut above scrapbooking and card making kits. And some of those have even been in clearance recently, which is exciting. You can get some. Ooh, did I just give you a sneaky peeky there? Some of them have been, like 2 double page layouts for like $10, which is fabulous. I'm not sure if there's any left, but you can absolutely go and check that out when you're checking out the Cardstock Carnival and the new catalog purchases and anything that's online. Hey, Mom, nice to see you're watching. All right, here we go. First collection in the March-April catalog, and this will be the featured collection for the month of March, which is called Honey Bunny. Aw, isn't it so sweet? Look at those cute little bunnies. There's lots of beautiful springtime colors here. There's florals and plaids and dots and butterflies and more florals and a few bunnies. Now, if you're not into bunnies for Easter or bunnies for spring, there's lots of other patterns going on here that don't have the bunnies, but who doesn't like the bunnies? I know in my neighborhood especially, we have a lot of bunnies in the springtime, little bunnies hippie hopping around, and they are these cute little brown bunnies, just like you see here. And so I think that's exciting because I actually have pictures of the little bunnies in our neighborhood. Even pictures of my kids kind of getting close to the little bunnies, but they always keep a distance because we don't want to scare the little bunnies away. So let's take a look at this first layout. We won't look at it too long because we're going to be recreating this layout a little later on after the walkthrough is done. But I love how it's got the bunnies top and bottom. It's got the beautiful swag going on here, some Easter egg, some stitching. And if you're somebody who doesn't like doing hand stitching or stitching with a machine, these are actually stickers, so that's exciting. Flipping over the page, there's a couple gorgeous cards created with some of the stamp sets with this collection. You make me see things more beautifully, and thanks a bunch. And as we're going through the catalog, I have posted our first game for the evening, and that is the search and find type game that we do every time. And so you may see some of those things as I'm flipping through. So take note of that, and then you'll be able to find them later when you're trying to send me the message to tell me what pages you found the things on. Yes, Joanne, these colors are super pretty. I love, there's honey butter and limeade and sage and seabrook and glacier, flamingo, peach, acorn. Such a lovely grouping of colors. Shannon saying it's her favorite, of course, because it's springtime and that's when the flowers come out in the garden, right, Shannon? I've already been seeing the photos you've been posting of your gorgeous garden. All right, so we have our pattern paper and sticker sheet. Then there's coordinating cardstock, and there are some extra specially good Honey Bunny dots available with this collection, along with the digital art. So let's take a look at our sticker sheet first. And isn't that gorgeous? I love that there's some borders you see at the top here. So there are a couple stitch lines that are borders, some of these lovely little eggs with little speckles on them, and they look a lot like those, what are they, the eggies that you get around this time of year, and then some lovely leaf borders, and then look at all the pretty banners. This is the life, this one's upside down, it says grow, best day, there's florals, plaid, stripes, love, oh happy day in this gorgeous wreath, hippity hoppity Easter is on the way, happy hopping down the bunny trail, going hunting, hooray for spring, there's a few little bunnies, bloom, look at that for Shannon. And then we've got little butterflies and florals, and there's a little butterfly half circle scallopy, and then some triangles and other scallopies going along here. And then across the bottom we have all smiles, Easter eggs, memories, blue skies, sunshine, amazing, so sweet, love this, springtime, and hippity hop. And then of course there's some little hearts, and they're all kind of looking a little spongy. You know, like they've been a little bit of sponging happening or watercoloring, and I think that's a lovely effect for springtime, right? We know the April showers bring the May flowers, so it's a little drippy, a little wet this time of year. Shannon says she's putting an order in this coming week. Uh-huh. Yep. Alrighty, so lovely sticker sheet. Let's take a look at the pattern paper. So of course we have the lovely paper all with all the bunnies on there. Isn't that gorgeous? And you can see that little punch of the darker glacier color on the flowers. Then there's some flamingo in those tiny little trio of flowers. Some, pardon me, honey butter. The bunnies are kind of the acorn color, which adds a nice little punch too. And it's just cute. Little tufts of grass here and there. And I think it's just really fun. So we're going to actually be using that one tonight. And then on the back side of that, we have this beautiful floral that has a sage background. I kind of like when they have a nice color in the background of a pattern paper like this, as opposed to just white. Of course, the zip strip on this is the lovely flamingo color with some little tiny hearts going all hither and thither on there. But aren't those lovely flowers? I like that they're all different kinds of flowers, and then some foliage and some grass, creating a really beautiful pattern. Then our next sheet, we have these beautiful watercolory, soft looking butterflies, again with a lovely background of the glacier. So we're getting, we've got pattern that has sort of a white background, but then we've got some fun colored backgrounds as well. And then the back side of that one is this beautiful plaid. Isn't that gorgeous? We've had plaids similar to this in other collections, and every time I just love it. It just looks like you've dragged a watercolor brush across your page. It's not perfection. It's a little bit this way and that, a little bit wobbly and a little bit lovely. And then a beautiful zip strip of little hippity hoppity bunnies going across the top. Then our next page, we have this beautiful honey butter polka dot, and that's a nice small type of pattern. And then on the back side of that, we have this pattern that has the gorgeous sort of deco floral pattern. I don't even know if you can see it very well in the light. It's a very light tone on tone pattern. And then at the top, there's a gorgeous little sort of gardeny zip strip. All the flowers are growing up from the bottom, the flowers and leaves. So that is the pattern paper collection for this catalog. Hey, Heather, nice to see you joining us on a Friday night. And aren't those gorgeous? They just look so beautiful and springy. It's making me feel inspired after this week where we had a blast of hopefully, the last hurrah of winter for a couple days. And then today, oh my goodness, it was so warm and beautiful out there that you almost forget that we had those couple days of too cold outside. It was so windy and so cold. Okay, so for our coordinating cardstock, you get 2 sheets of white daisy. and then 2 sheets of honey butter, and I'm showing both the front and the back side so you can see the 2 tones. Then 2 sheets of sage, followed by 2 sheets of Seabrook. And sometimes I never think to put things like sage and Seabrook together, but then we've even got, look at this, I love, it's like an ombre of colors. Then we have the glacier front and back as well. And finally, I believe this one is peach. You'd think by now I would know the colors. Yes. Peach. And isn't that just a beautiful array of colors to go with those pattern papers? Alrighty, so that's the coordinating cardstock. And then let's take a look at these lovely dots. Aren't they pretty? They just look like a row of candy. You just want to lick them. They remind me of the colors of those treats that my great-grandmother always had, the Misty Mints. Do you remember the Misty Mints? So we've got beautiful dots that are peach, glacier, limeade, and honey butter. Isn't that beautiful? And you get 2 sheets of those. They're all just the dots, just the round ones. And you get the 3 sizes, the large, the medium, and the small. So those are the honey butter dots. Now, I don't have the digital collection because, you know me, I don't Cricut or Silhouette or any of those things. I use ye old scissors. But this is the digital art collection. You can see there's some options for a layout in there, some card designs, bloom and grow titles, spring in a beautiful font, and then a gorgeous array of florals and a tag, and of course this little bunny here, and all of these details down here. Aren't those gorgeous? Easter Wishes title as well. So for those of you who do the digital, now I will tell you that for those of you who have purchased digital collections, because things are wrapping up in June, you'll want to make sure that you have downloaded everything from your account into your whatever program that you use so that your files are there and kept safe. And I don't know how they work. So you guys will know better than I if you use them. And you just make sure you've got them all downloaded, right? You don't want to have them disappear without getting them downloaded. Hey, oh, Heather's saying she's getting those dots. Yes, I may or may not have had to get a couple. So if we run out, it's my fault. I bought 2 packs. No, it's not my fault. And we're getting more, so it's all good. Alrighty, so flipping over the page, and we can see the card making and scrapbooking stamp sets that go with this collection. There's the Honey Bunny card making stamp set. Let me just lift this up. And so you can see there's that beautiful wreath, and then a cluster of flowers and some individual flowers, a stem, some just petals, which is kind of fun because you can create a really cool background, a texture type thing, I would think, with the petals, or put them below a little bunch to make it look like a few little petals have fallen off. And we've got sentiments. Love you. You make me see things more beautifully, which I think is a gorgeous sentiment. And thanks a bunch. So up here we have some artwork. I love how this card has been made with strips of paper. But if you look closely, you'll see that the strips are kind of different sizes. Some are shorter, some are a little longer, but they all kind of blend together. We've got the bunnies, we've got a zip strip, we've got some pattern paper, and another piece of pattern paper, and then some cardstock, likely the sage. I think that's sage there. And they've used the gel pen to add the stitching detail on there. They've inked a little bit around this circle, and I like too how they have stamped the florals in a colored ink. I'm thinking sage. Looks like sage. Sage or glacier? Glacier, actually. Sorry, glacier. And then they've colored them very, very gently. And so I'm thinking some of them might have been inked, but also probably the pencil crayons, those new pencil crayons that we have. And then this gorgeous one has that plaid in the background, and then some sort of just corner layered bit of sage cardstock, some white daisy that's been inked, some pattern paper, another piece of the pattern paper, the honey butter dots set on an angle to look like a diamond. Then they've stamped this as well in a colored ink on white daisy, and then beautifully colored it in just ever so lightly. Some torn paper there, one of the stickers, strip borders, and a few little flags added on there, and of course some of those dots. I noticed that they used some of the dots over here as the centers of the flowers, which is super cute. Over here on the flowers, they've got some bitty sparkles, but then of course coming in with the glacier dots. Then we have the Honey Bunny scrapbooking stamp set, which of course has some big titles for working on your scrapbooks. So we've got Hopping Down the Bunny Trail, Happy Spring Has Sprung, Easter. Then we've got bunnies. We've got this little guy and a larger one looking the opposite direction. Then this guy who's hippity hopping away. There's eggs in the grass. There's some pretty flowers, just little scatter stamps, a bunch of different kinds of grass, a single egg, a carrot, lots of things that you can work with. And this layout here, it's got some interesting details on it. So they've started off with the honey butter card base. They've added in a layer, and you can see it in the center here of that peach pattern paper with that floral detail on it. Then they've added a strip across of the honey butter dots. But this top layer, the plaid, they've actually cut a square like you would gut out the center, but then they took the edges of that and they sort of tore them and rolled them back all the way around. So you've kind of got like a peekaboo going. So it looks like you're looking inside, which would be super fun in a shadow box, I think, but also really cool in your album. Of course, a nice little scattering of sticker hearts and the honey butter dots, and then of course a few of the little bunnies and things, some little flags hanging down here, and some journaling with a scalloped little square in behind there in, what color is that? Kind of looks like linen, but it doesn't list linen, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I obviously didn't pay attention during that part of the catalog launch. Yes, the coloring in the catalog is always so gorgeous. Like the art department does such a gorgeous job of creating the examples and things. So next we have the scrapbooking workshop kit. And as part of this workshop kit, you can get it with or without memory protectors. Then it includes the paper pack and sticker sheet. And just so you know, there's always a few leftovers. They don't use everything, so you can make another page or 2 or 10, depending on how you do your stuff, and or some extra cards. Then you've also got some cardstock sheets in there. There are 4 exclusive pattern paper sheets that you see here, and you get a package of the honey bunny dots, and the additional supplies are a black lip pen and some foam tape. So not too many extra things are needed. So let's take a close-up look at this first double page layout. And this one is really kind of cool. We've got this big circle going on here with some woven strips on top, which I think is really neat, including one of the sticker strips going along here and another one going here. We've got the lovely pattern paper and, of course, some bunnies going there. The same pattern paper. And on this side, we've got the paper weaving again, but it's not in the circle. It's just on a square page. All the lovely stickers going across as a big banner to join the 2 pages together. Some beautiful journaling going on there. And then our second page starts out with a sage background and then adding some white daisy with some drawn stitches. So that's where that black lip pen comes in. And then I love these circles and scallops in behind. And of course, those are all die cut pieces. So like the circle and things, not necessarily the strips of paper. Those you gotta cut. The circles are die cuts. And this little speech bubble, so fun. Look at this. The giraffe is looking at her. And then over here, it's got some strips of the paper. I like how they did strips of paper on this side and strips of paper on this side. Usually when you see that, you have the strips of paper on one side and then you flip it. But here they kind of repeated the same thing, but they mixed them up a little bit, and I think it really works well, and it gets 4 more photos in there. Of course, you could add flip flaps on there for a few more if you wanted. And then on this side, we've got the circle again. So on one side, we're using the inside of the circle, and on this side, we're using the outside of the circle. So don't throw those away, you need them. And then, of course, you can see that exclusive pattern paper here in the background. I love how they've done torn paper in behind, and then when they've got the cloud exclusive paper there, they've used the little flags and whatnot to make a kind of a stylized sun, but they've repeated the torn paper on this side. So on that first layout, you saw them doing the paper weaving with the circle and the second page, and this time it's torn paper, which works really well with these beach photos. Now you will notice this is a Honey Bunny collection that is presumably for spring and for Easter, and we've got one layout with Easter right here, but then we've got a trip to the zoo and we've got a trip to the beach. So, you know, it can really work for all sorts of things, right? Then we've got the Honey Bunny card making workshop kit, and this is kind of fun. And it's one of those things, right? I always say 9 times out of 10, if I buy the card making workshop kit, it's because I want the dies that are in the stamp set, and then I can make all the cards and I can still have the dies. And so in this one, you actually get the dies to make 2 different sizes of butterflies, and they're really pretty, very stylized, and they really go nicely with this pattern paper from the collection. So you get your stamp set and the thin cuts. You also get the bulk, a couple sheets of the pattern paper. You get some cardstock. You get your card bases and envelopes, as well as some silver glitter gems. And the extra things are some glacier limeade and black ink, as well as some foam tape. So just a couple inks, probably ones you already have. And the sentiments on this stamp set are birthday, smile, you brighten my day, hello, you make me, friend, happy. And then there is this lovely butterfly border, a floral, a single butterfly, and a colored in floral as opposed to an outline. There's a couple little trail lines for the butterflies, and then the dies. So it makes a large butterfly with 2 pieces and then a body, and then a small one with 2 pieces and a body. Now the small one does not have the antennae because those would be such teeny tiny fragile pieces. It would be impossible. So if you want antennae for your little guy, you can always just draw some on with your black lip pen. So let's take a close-up look at the cards. There's a slim line, and with the 3 butterflies lined up there, you brighten my day, and also some stamping done at the bottom. They've used the floral outline and the floral solid one on top of the other to create this flower, and then they use the trail lines to make the stems for the flowers. So you can really mix up how you use your stamps, right? Then this one, they've used that border of butterflies along the side, along with some strips and the 2 butterflies there. And then here we've got that lovely butterfly paper in behind with the polka dots. And this one, they did some pattern paper for the butterfly, which is super fun. And of course, a little extra stamp butterfly there. You can see the stitch trail. And then this one, they used flags with the pattern paper, but instead of having them hanging down from the top, they have them coming up from the bottom, which kind of makes it look like a little gardenscape. And then the butterflies and some random stamped florals going on. So that is the Honey Bunny card making workshop kit, and that means that our next page is going to be showing you the second collection in the catalog, which was featured on the front cover, and that is Let's Go Anywhere. I'm going to take a drink while you admire this front page. So for those of you who have had the itch to travel since COVID and have been taking advantage of that, or you've got older photos that you need to scrapbook from travels, and even just life in general. I know for me, this is actually going to be really good, and you'll see some of the papers and understand why, for my kids that are in air cadets, because there's airplanes all over it. And so that is very thematic. So it doesn't even have to be travel per se. It just has to go with the theme. And I love the colors that are in here. If you look at the list going across the top here, there's lots of stuff in this particular layout. There's scarlet, periwinkle, sapphire, pine, jade, shortbread, toffee, charcoal, mink, and linen. So that's quite a collection of colors, and it is a gorgeous collection of colors. Nice and bold, tends to be masculine looking, which is really exciting. Quite often we have travel papers that are a little bit more bright, a little bit more sunny destination, tropical, that kind of thing. And this is a little bit more, I want to say mature, perhaps, in terms of travel. Still fun, but a little bit more sort of dark and I don't know what I want to say. I like the colors. They're nice and bold, but they're not like, they're bold, but they're not bright. Does that make sense? Anyway, so we've got some gorgeous paper going on here, and they've been having fun with the paper tearing. So here you can see we've got some torn paper coming in at an angle, and they have rolled back those edges nice and heavily on that top layer. So you can see the little plaid in behind, and some scarlet peeking through with that white core edge showing, and then the beautiful pattern paper in behind, this lovely pattern paper on top. Lots of fun things going on. I love how they've tucked things in there. It just looks like you've grabbed a whole handful of your ephemera from a trip. You know, you've got your map, and you've got your flyers that you picked up from places, and a postcard, and you just kind of all plunked it down with your photo. So that's the look that you're getting there. Here you can see an array of the pattern paper and stickers, and then there's a couple of cards here. You mean the world to me. I love this heart with the world modified, obviously, world map on there, or a sort of a globe. And then down here we've got you make the world better, with some gorgeous flags. Again, those flags going upside down. Some people get the heebie-jeebies when those dovetailed flags are upside down, but I think it kind of works there. And so let's flip the page, and we will take a close-up look at these pattern papers. Heather says, I don't need travel paper. Other ideas are welcome. Yep. Well, you can certainly find some other stuff to do with this. All right. So we've got, as usual, our pattern paper, sticker sheet, cardstock, and our embellishment this time are die cuts. So these are black and tan paperboard, and then the digital collection. So let's take a look at our sticker sheet. Always got to start with the sticker sheet because it gives us a good view and feel of what's coming up. So here we have at the top, we've got a tag like you would get on your suitcase when you're flying or going on the train. Passport. This is a pouch with all your toiletries and sunglasses and things in it. Some beautiful hearts. Collect memories. I like the fun shape of this title. Adventure, and I love how it's got the stitched line with the airplane. Then we've got lots of arrows, globes, a couple tags. Is waiting, so like adventure is waiting. Some more passports, more arrows, some little tabs to tuck in behind things. I like this one with the swirl that goes around and makes a heart to the airplane. It says, let's go anywhere. And then we've got a compass, a couple globes. Take the scenic route, so that even works for just going on a road trip for the afternoon. See the world. We've got a key, like you'd have your keys for, you know, if you rented a cottage or rent an Airbnb or something, you know, you get your keys. Then we've got airplane. Here's another one with the globe in behind. Wander, travel with me. So that can be anything. That can just be, you know, besties going out for the day. It can be just about anything. And then more arrows. We've got a couple of these, what are those called? Tags, geotags or whatever. And then across the bottom, we've got a whole bunch of words. Let's go anywhere, play a little, follow your heart, weekend away, away we go, explore together, I'm out of here, see the world, vacation, travel together, adventure, scenic route, road trip, fly away with me. And then these two scalloped borders here at the bottom that are in the, what color would that be? Toffee. And they have like a really light printed map on them. And I think that's super cool. So that's the sticker sheet. And then we have the pattern paper. Of course, that first one is the hero paper, as we like to call it. And it has some fun icons on there. There's an open suitcase. There's closed suitcases. And these are modern looking suitcases. And they're realistic. They're not stylized. Cartoony ones. They look fairly realistic. So there's different open suitcases. There's hats, flip-flops, or sandals. Doesn't have to be flip-flops. Globes, passports, closed suitcases, like carry-on. There's little pouches. There are toiletries, sunglasses. Every time I look at it, I see something else. So it's all the things that you would pack to get ready to go somewhere. It doesn't have to be somewhere on an airplane. It could be a cruise. It could be to grandma's for the weekend. You know, it could be anything. And then the back side of that is this sheet that has passports all over it. Now you think, okay, well, I might not be going somewhere that requires a passport. But if you look at this kind of through squinty eyes, it looks like colored blocks. It doesn't have to, you don't have to focus on the fact that it's passports, right? It's just a fun pattern. And then at the top, we actually have a toffee, almost like a dot, but they're actually teeny tiny little geotags. I don't know if you can see that with my jiggling hand. And then the next sheet is the one that I think is going to come in really handy for the Air Cadets. And this is a lovely mink pattern that has little stitch line trails to all sorts of airplanes. So they start with a little geotag and end with an airplane. And I think that's super cute. And then on the back side of that, I really like this one. So you know how we talk about patterns being large and mid and then small size patterns? So this is a small little grid. At first I thought it was a plaid, but I'd like to say that it's a grid. And if I bring it a little bit farther away from the camera, the colors will actually go a little more true. It's all the fun colors from the collection, the blue, the green, the red, and then at the top there's a mink zip strip that has little white globes all the way across. I don't know if you can see that. I'm always a little unsure whether you can see the fine details on the video. And then the next sheet is a really nice small scale pattern as well. And this is in the, let me see. It's got some sapphire. It's kind of like front and back of sapphire. But it's actually little stitch lines. Teeny tiny little close together stitch lines going across. And that creates a really nice texture. And then the back side of that is this gorgeous jade and pine pattern that's a map. But it's a very like far away map. So it almost has the look of almost like leather from a distance, which is kind of fun. But this is also good. Like if you had, I'm thinking like back in the day, they used to have airplanes or helicopters or whatever that go around and people would take photos of farms and things from up in the sky and then they'd come around and try to sell them to you. And you kind of had that look, right, of the fields from up in the air. And I think that would look cool on this kind of paper. And then we've got all the multicolored geotags across the top, or pins. Is that what they're called? I don't know. With the little hearts in them. So I think that's cute. The grid is like a road map, but without the large roads. Yes, it is. And it's really cool. It's great for any trip. Exactly. Yes, Joanna, it looks like a crackle. It really does. That would be cool if you were doing something about like mosaic glass or, you were at a museum and there was really cool like crackly pottery. or glasswares. That would be fun for a cool texture in the background. Lots of ideas. You guys are so smart. You come up with so many fun ideas. All right, now cardstock to go with this collection. Instead of White Daisy, we have French vanilla. So you're going to get a couple of French vanilla. Then toffee. So I'm showing you front and back of toffee, true color, and the lighter shade. And then there's shortbread. So it creates a nice little ombre of browns there. And then we've got pine, front and back. Then there's sapphire. And finally, the scarlet. So isn't that fun? We've got like our red, blue, and green, and then our browns and vanillas. And I love that combination. Of course, you know, anything with blues and greens is a winner in my book. Because, you know, I have mostly blues and greens. If you look at my inks, you know, half my inks are blues and greens. It's just the way it is. Now the die cuts, I don't know how well you'll be able to see these, but we'll pull them out anyway. So you're going to get 2 sheets of black and tan paperboard. And so these are really low profile because they're thicker than cardstock, but they're not like acrylics. So we've got this one. It's got Away We Go, Adventure, Let's Go. There's a few airplanes, some X's, some arrows, some of those pins. There's a couple tags and tabs. Lots of fun things going there. And then on the black one, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can grab something that's lighter. Maybe the back of the catalog. I don't think that'll help. But anyway, we've got Enjoy the Journey in a beautiful script. World of Wonder. And that's a really good title for those of you who are thinking of what can you do if you're not doing travel. World of Wonder. Can you imagine, you know, kids going to the science center or something like that, or exploring at the conservation area. And then we've got some more airplanes, stars, X's, arrows, more of the tags, loop-de-loop arrows, a couple more tags there. So lots of fun details on those. So those are the Let's Go Anywhere die cuts in tan and black. And of course, arrows and X's and tags, those work for just about anything. So there we go. Of course, there's also the digital art collection. So you can see we've got a layout here, and it's got a background of all sorts of arrows. So my guess is that you can cut all those arrows out. So arrows in every shape and size. And then we've got Let's Go. There's some banners. There's a globe. Passport, the keys, the suitcases. So there's some stacked ones, a single one that's got your carry bag stacked on top. Let's Go Anywhere, Go See Do, See the World, sunglasses, airplanes, toiletries, lots of fun things in that digital collection. So what are you thinking about this collection? Joanne's saying it's rich in color. Yes, that's what I like. I like that. You know, it's hard because I always say, ooh, I like this color combination. Ooh, I like this color combination. Because every time I see a mix of colors together, I'm like, yeah, those look really good together. Why didn't I think of that? And then we have the Let's Go Anywhere card making. And of course, I had to get this one. I did not get it with the thin cut. The thin cut cuts out the heart. We're just going to hope that I can fussy cut a heart. But it's got a lot of sentiments on there. So I'm just going to lift this up. So you can see all those sentiments on there. Besides this beautiful heart, there's a couple stitched hearts in different sizes. There's a solid heart, and that had a thin cut as well. But it's got You Make the World Better, Happy Birthday, I'd Go Anywhere with You. There's this lovely swirl with a heart and an airplane, a couple arrows together. You Mean the World to Me, a couple more swirly stitchy lines, a solid little heart. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Welcome to the world, Little Wonder, with little hearts and stitchy lines. I'd Go Anywhere with You. Happy birthday. Did I already say that? I think I did. Let's take a look at the art. So up here you can see they used that pattern paper that I really like with the stitch lines and the airplanes, and it's Welcome to the World, Little Wonder. They've used just the thin cut to cut out the grid for a heart, and then adding in some of the stickers as well as some stamped images. This little toffee one, that's from the sticker sheet. I think this circle one is as well. And I like how they also added some of the stitched hearts just stamped in the background on that pattern paper. There's that green pattern paper in the background on the baby card, right? Like it's just fun. It doesn't have to be travel. You can twist anything you want out of things like this. This one says, I'd go anywhere with you. There's the lovely heart. And so they've stamped the heart in the scarlet, and then they've used this little heart trail one to add on top in sapphire or black. And then, of course, we've got the lovely pattern paper in behind. This has been added on top, and it's got a little torn edge, layering up some of the stickers and die cuts on there. That zip strip with all the little tags, a little bit of the grid, and then some of the pluses for embellishing from the die cuts as well. So that is the card making stamp set from Let's Go Anywhere. And then the scrapbooking stamp set. Let's flip the page over so we can get a closer look. This one has some lovely titles and stamped words. Adventure awaits. There's an arrow. We've got another one of these swirly stitchy trails with a heart, but it says Let's Go Anywhere, and then it swirls right around. I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list. I think that's kind of fun. Then we've got a passport, we've got a wheelie, suitcase, an arrow, sunglasses, a couple of airplanes, a tag, a lovely globe. Let's go, see the world, I'm out of here, bon voyage. And so let's take a look at this layout that they've created. I like the big tag that's used for the photo mat, and they've stitched around the edge and done some inking on there and some stamping. And I think it's kind of cool that they stamped the sunglasses and then they stamped and cut out and added sunglasses on top. I like how they've layered up the pattern and then rolled this corner back. There's another little tag just kind of hanging down from the top. All of these lovely words are stamped on the side, lots of arrows. And then they've even used this stamp to create some pattern paper in behind on shortbread. I think it was toffee on shortbread. And then look at all these torn edges. And then that lovely green pattern paper, a strip of just those passports across the center, and then some stickers and different things layered up to create a nice little cluster there. I think that's super fun. And of course the sentiment, I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list. Joanne saying you could do a great graduation card with this stamp and die set. You sure could. That would be a great one. And this one even, right? Adventure Waits. Yep, totally. All right, let's take a look at the scrapbooking workshop kit. So again, you can get it with or without the memory protectors. It comes with a stamp set. Now, this is not typical. Usually there's not a stamp set in the scrapbooking workshop kit, but this time there's an exclusive A-size stamp set, and when I show you what it is, you might be excited about that. Then we've got the paper pack and sticker sheet. There's some coordinating cardstock, not the whole pack, just a couple of pieces of cardstock. There's 4 exclusive pattern papers. There's some die cuts, and you also get a set of an exclusive set of the die cuts that go with this collection. So it's just the ones that they made multiples of, so you can do what they did in the layouts. And then for additional things, there's espresso and sapphire ink, a black pen, and some foam tape. So easy peasy extras for all of these layouts. And if you look very carefully here in the background, you can see this little thing that's happening here. And what that is maybe this will show you better. This is the featured technique for it, and it's this stamping with this A-size stamp, and it's an A-size stamp of the roadway matte gritty thing from that green pattern paper. So you can create your own extra little bits and bobs in behind things. So there's this lovely toffee grid that's an exclusive pattern paper. Then they have these fun zigzag angled pieces. And then, of course, lovely photo mats, some stickers from the sticker collection with that stamping in behind here and there, layering up lots of things there. On the second page, we've got that gorgeous pattern paper. That's the hero paper. And then the grid, again, more stamping. It's just tucked in here and there, but wouldn't that be a fun stamp to use for lots of other things too? You can create your own pattern paper with that crackly, leathery, mappy look, right? And then on the next page, we have this final layout. Again, they've used that pattern paper. This time they stamped in the background with, I believe, sapphire ink with that map. Maybe that will actually show you a little bit better what it looks like. It's hard to tell, right? And then some lovely toffee photo mats. I like how they have the photos lined up here in a row, but they've kept sort of that same kind of feel of things happening across the center of the page, using some of those tabs from the die cuts and stickers. Lots of fun things going on there. Alrighty. So that is the scrapbooking workshop kit. So this one says collect memories. This one has the adventure is waiting, and this one is travel with me as the titles. And then as we turn the page, this is the card making workshop kit for Let's Go Anywhere. And so the stamp set and die is this one here that kind of makes a clock or a compass. And so that's kind of cool. So there's this die, a thin cut with a loop on top, and that creates the shape for the compass or the clock, like a pocket watch or anything like that. There's hands that you can stamp on for the clock. There's the thin cut for the compass rose cardinal directions. This one has the little ticks cut out of it, so it's a circle die, but it's got little ticks for all the stages around the clock. And then it's got let's explore together. It's time we celebrate you. So glad we found each other. You are my true north. And then the little arrow border, some swirly lines, geotags, and then a little star for the center of your compass or your clock. And then you're going to get some pattern paper, some cardstock, all your card bases and envelopes. The stamp set, you're going to get an exclusive sheet of printed paperboard die, and then the thin cuts. And let's take a look at the art. So at this first one, we've got a slimline. This says, so glad we found each other. They've layered up that green pattern paper with some edge distressing on top of some sapphire. They've done some tone-on-tone stamping with that compass rose. And then also tone-on-tone stamping with the arrows here. And again, that passport paper just stuck in there like a pattern. It doesn't have to be that you're going anywhere. And then we've got you are my true north. There it is, looking like a compass, layering up all the beautiful pattern papers, some torn paper, some edge inking, and then the little stars that are kind of tucked in there. So those are the printed die cuts, and they're actually a wood grain. And then we've got let's explore together. Again, look at, they've layered up 2 different layers of that compass rose, and then some arrows and an arrow border. I like how they've really kind of distressed the paper in the background on there, and there's a technique for that. They get the paper a little bit wet and they crumple it up, if you've done that before, and create that really kind of almost like treasure map look, right? In the background, some torn paper on top, some stamping. It's time we celebrate you, and looking gorgeous. So you get to learn that fun technique. They're calling it the paper leathering and sponging technique. So you'll learn how to do that in that card making workshop kit. Now, the mix-in papers, which are lovely. Oh, Joanne's saying you see a Christmas ornament. Yep, so is Deborah. You guys are so smart, right? It looks like a Christmas ornament. And actually, you know, when you say that, that shape with the loop on top and then this sort of thing in the center reminds me of those Christmas balls that are like a whole ball on the back, but then it's kind of concave on the front, and there was like a starbursty thing in the inside. Is that what you guys are thinking? That's what came to my mind as soon as you said Christmas ornament, you know, from back in the 60s and 70s. I love it. Okay, so this is the Mix In paper collection. Gorgeous colors that work so well with the collections that are in this catalog. And of course, a beautiful layout here, but let's see the patterns up close. The first page is in the periwinkle, and it has these random hearts all over it. Isn't that fun? And then it's got a zip strip that just has sort of little scritchy scratches in X's across the top. Now the back side of this paper is a periwinkle plaid, or check actually. That's more of a check than a plaid because it's very even in periwinkle. So that's our first page. And then our next one is in the sage question mark. Yeah, I think so. Boo, boo, boo. In the collection, there's honey butter, periwinkle, sage, seabrook, shortbread, and white daisy. So that actually might be seabrook. It's a little bit light for the sage, but it's kind of like random little starry bits that kind of go with that compass shape. And of course, when I hold it too close, it doesn't even look green anymore. It goes yellow. But and then across the top, there's a lovely little geometric zip strip. The back side is this periwinkle. It looks like you know, the leather tufting type stuff. Anyway, it's a little diamond grid with a dot in the center. So that is a second page. And then we've got sage polka dot, nice big random blobby bits. And then those hearts are repeated on the zip strip at the top. And then on the back side, we have clouds. Look at those fun clouds going across there. Isn't that beautiful? And then, actually that's seabrook, sorry. This is the sage with a lovely leaf pattern all over it. A nice little petite pattern. Let me see if I can get it closer without the color going crazy. So you can see that little leaf pattern and a tiny little check on the zip strip. It's nice when you get those tiny little patterns if you like making cards. And then on the back side, isn't this rich and luxurious? It looks like ship's wheels. In the center, if I can point it out here, in the center here of each of these circles, it looks like a ship's wheel. And I think that's super cool. It's a very fun, kind of mature looking pattern that would go great with that travel collection. And then on this page, we have the sage with a fun stripe. If I can hold it still enough so you can see the pattern. It's kind of vertical stripes that have a dot running down the center of them. And then on the back side, we have the honey butter, little suns all over, and then a zip strip with an even tinier leaf pattern that's mirrored from that sage. Then our last page, we have this honey butter pattern that's little dots made into circles. And then on the back side, we have the honey butter stripe, and it's got a zip strip with some suns going across. So that is the Mix In paper. Joanne's saying it's great baby paper. Sure is. You know, the little clouds and these little things and the little suns and the stripes. Totally baby. Why not? So that is the Mix In paper pack. And then let's take a look at the art inspiration here. We have that gorgeous periwinkle hearts in the background. Of course, you can get the center out and save some of that paper. Layered up with some seabrook cardstock, a little bit of silver glitter paper just tucked in on these two opposing corners. A little bit of that zip strip with the same hearts but in a different color. Then we've got the pattern paper from the Let's Go Anywhere, that sapphire little stitched bit there. There's some cardstock in here, and they actually don't list the color of that cardstock, but I'm thinking that's Harbor tucked in the back there, and then white daisy, and they've done a double line hand-drawn border at the top. Down at the bottom is just layers and layers of beautiful dovetailed flags hanging down there, creating a nice little spot for the journaling. And then the sticker from the I keep wanting to say honey bunny collection. And then some of those honey bunny dots as well. Gorgeous. Okay, so that's the mix-ins. And you know, as soon as we're done with the mix-ins, the next page is the teaser for all of the stamp sets, right? This is always when I get excited. If the papers didn't get you excited, the stamps usually get me excited. So let's turn the page. I love the colors that they used on this. That nice little punch of the red popping through there, the yellow, the green. It just looks really springy and fun and bright. Let's take a quick look before we get too excited. We've got Lucky to Know You, a little shamrocky thing happening in there, rainbow. And then we've got this beautiful tag with a hand-drawn outside border. This floral has been cut from some Swiss dot embossed paper, and then sanded, so the tops of those little Swiss dots show the white core showing through, and then some die-cut leaves. Welcome Spring. We've got Hello Friend, and it's been colored in sort of a gradient. We've got Yay for Spring, and this particular stamp is the March stamp of the month. Look at this little snail. You've got mail. And then we have this lady here doing some fishing. This is the life. We've got I Love You, Rain or Shine. You may have seen that already in a sneak peek. It might be part of a game. A beautiful bouquet of flowers. And this vase has actually been paper pieced. So you stamp it on the pattern paper and then add it on. And that is in that honey butter dot from the Mix-ins. I think it was from the Mix-ins. This is the Best Life. There's my cutie with a little frog hanging out there. Some random stamping. A little bit of that mix-in paper going on in there. Then we've got One Fine Spring Day. These are great places to get sort of little embellishment clusters and ideas for layout titles and cards and different things. So always take a look at these sort of centerfold little teaser pages. I love this little egg shape happening here. We've got some stamping. Hello Spring. This one I think was actually painted in with ink in the word spring, and then layering up with some pattern paper and zip strip. And then we've got that beautiful pattern from the Honey Bunny collection in the background there, layered up with some hearts. And these, again, have been embossed with the embossing folders and then sanded, so you get that pop of white. And this little guy is from the April stamp of the month. Sunshine Makes Me Happy. Some rain boots, another little snail. We've got a little bookmark that's been created, Happy Trails. This would even look really pretty on a slimline card, but it also looks lovely as a nice little gift for somebody. You're amazing. And so let's start looking at these stamp sets. I'm trying to kind of motor through because some of you have already seen the catalog. So I don't want to linger too long on everything. This first page here, we have two different stamp sets. One has a whole bunch of words and one has a whole bunch of icons. So the first one is Spring Has Sprung stamp set. We've got Beautiful Memories, Bloom and Grow, Where You Are Planted, Bring On the Sunshine, Fresh Start, Hello Sunshine, Springtime is Here, Has Sprung, In Full Bloom, Hello Friend, Sunshine Makes Me Happy, See the Beauty in Everyday Things. And I love that they're all different fonts. Let me bring it up a little closer so you can see them a little better. And lots of different titles and things that you can do with those stamp sets. And then down here at the bottom, we have some springtime icons. It's called In Springtime stamp. And of course, there are thin cuts that you can get with it. So there's a butterfly and a bird and some ladybugs, some butterflies, a bumblebee, sun, cloud, an umbrella, the frog, rain boots, watering can, carrots, and eggs in a nest. Lots of springtime lovely things there. And then here as our inspiration, we've got a 12 by 12 layout with a beautiful circle. You keep seeing that circle popping up amongst the workshop kits and examples. And here they've used those icons as a beautiful little frame around the bottom of this photo. So they actually did the photo at the top and then cut cardstock for the bottom. Now, there was discussion about how they did this with the photo, and I think they said they used, what was it, a 7 by 9 photo or something like that, and then cut it down to create that circle. But isn't that fun if you have a gorgeous large photo that was well taken, obviously, to make it that large? And then some lovely little banners there. There's a Hello Sunshine card with all those sun from the Mix-In collection. And this paper has had some embossing done to it on the diagonal. It's got a nice little flag of limeade and behind. We've got more pattern paper from the Mix-In collection or from the Honey Bunny. Now I can't remember. But down here, we've just got strips of cardstock, creating that fun sort of ribbon look across, and then some of those fun, fluttery icons with a little hello friend, super cute. Here we've got that zip strip that has the florals from the Honey Bunny, and then, of course, a little stamped border of some ladybugs going all the way across the rainbows, the umbrella that's been paper pieced, and then some inking in behind the dovetailed sentiment and even inking on top. Alrighty, let's flip the page. Let's see what else is in here. So we've got 3 stamp sets on this page. The top part here we have the Because of Easter stamp and thin cuts. And so there's this really pretty sentiment here. Because of Easter, there's triumphant hope, there's abundant life, there is victory. And then we've got this lovely cascade of flowers around here with the image inside. We've got the cross and the sun coming up behind, a dove, a cross with some foliage, and then a thin cut for the cross. So you can kind of layer those up together or keep them separate. So that is the Because of Easter stamp set. Down here on the bottom, we have the spring bunnies. And it has, have a lovely Easter, thankful for friends, hello spring, warm and fuzzy hugs. I like that one, warm and fuzzy hugs. And then I like that it's a whole little grouping of bunnies. So there's 5 little bunnies there. They're all looking different directions, doing different things, super cute. And then we've got this single stamp that says Easter Sunday, and it's got a beautiful wreath of florals going all the way around it. Gorgeous. Flipping over the page, you can see the inspiration here. Some of that pattern paper from the Mix-In with all the little stars on it. And then some stenciling has lightly been done in the background. And then that stamping in the background, that's actually this stamp that's used in behind. And then look at that gorgeous coloring on those flowers. Isn't that beautiful? On here we have there the layering of the inked portion of the stamp, and then the piece on top. It says here, the coordinating die cut cross shape is the perfect size to layer on top of the embellished cross stamped image for extra dimension. And they've also done some inking behind there and a little bit of stenciling with a Swiss dot stencil. You're gonna see that. I know it keeps popping up there, that Swiss dot, but it'll come. Then here we've got some lovely strips of pattern paper and stickers. And then I like how they use some circle dies to cut out these. So it looks like a scallop, but they're just circles that have been tucked under the photo mat. And then that beautiful Easter Sunday wreath and a little bit of that Swiss dot stenciling and inking happening in the background. And then down here, look what they did with those bunnies. I think this is super cute. They've actually got 2 copies of it. So they've stamped one full one, and then they stamped it again, but they actually took off this little bunny right here. You see he's missing? They just trimmed him off, a little bit of fussy cutting, and it was actually stamped on the linen, and then they just went ahead and colored those in. A little bit of stenciling in the background, some stickers, and a few little Easter eggs popped in there, and have a lovely Easter. So those are some fun stamps happening there. Our next page, we have two different stamp sets. We have the Garden Eggs Stamp and Thin Cuts, or just stamps. And then at the bottom here, we have the Garden Park Borders. And you can get those with thin cuts as well. Now this top one has one egg thin cut right here. So if you get that one, it's only a few dollars more for the thin cut because there's only one thin cut. But that allows you to get that egg shape for if you want to cut these out. So if you plan on cutting them out, you might want that one with the thin cut. So there's 4 different patterns, lovely florals and motifs. Then we've got Happy Easter, Your Extra Special. And then we've got a couple of things that can kind of go around the eggs. Sending Joyful Easter Wishes, Have an Excellent, and then we've got Happiness Blooms from Within, and then a few little scatter stamps. And then at the bottom, we have these Garden Park Borders stamps, and they also come with thin cuts. So there's a thin cut for each of these borders. And so we've got some little swags that are being carried by some birds. Then there's an array of butterflies and dragonflies going across, a vine of florals. Then there's a sort of like a windowsill of potted plants going all the way across. And I love this one. All the little bird houses, all at different heights, and little birdies here and there, and then a little bit of a floral happening across the top, or a leaf motif, I should say. And then let's look at the inspiration on this side. There they have stamped out that swag and bird border, and then combined it with the egg, Sending Joyful Easter Wishes. They've got some dovetailed pattern papers in behind on top of that periwinkle diamond. This one, they've used that beautiful sage pattern from the mix-in, layered up with some cardstock that they've stamped, some pine cardstock that they have added some gel pen to. I love how they hand-drawn the stitches, and then they've hand-drawn a border around here as well. And it kind of ends in behind all of those birdhouses, so you don't see it continue on, which makes this green kind of mix in with the lovely little leafy motif there. And they've stamped that up in toffee ink, so that all the birdhouses have that sort of brownish wood look to them. And then down here we have You Are a Sunshine on a Rainy Day. It's layered up with the potted plants, and then the dragonflies and the butterflies, and then of course the vine across the top, that lovely check-in behind. And here we have 3 of the eggs stamped up and die cut out on top of a large swag of that pattern paper with the leaf. Little bunnies hopping across, that's that zip strip. A little bit of that stenciling with the Swiss dot in behind, and then of course some honey bunny dots for embellishment. All right, we have done that page. On to the next. Look at this one. Okay, I kind of have a thing for snails. I think it's because my husband has a thing for snails, and they just are kind of cute to me. So I actually did get this stamp set. So you're probably going to be seeing that getting used a lot. So you're going to see lots of inspiration for that one. So that is called the Happy Snail Trails stamp, and there are thin cuts that go with that. And then down here at the bottom, we have the Heartfelt Flowers stamp, and there's thin cuts for that one as well. So up at the top, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different snails. This one's got some snail mail. This one's got a nice little grin. This one you can't see the face, but it's got a little flower there. And this one has got some lovely googly eyes and a nice little flower. And then there's a bunch of mushrooms, little clusters and single. And then this cute little rainbow. There's some mail. There's a little snail trail. And it says, don't hurry, be happy. Happy trails. Hello, sunshine. You've got mail. You're amazing. And then down here at the bottom with Heartfelt Flowers, there's that potted plant that we saw on the opener teaser page, with the paper pieced vase, and then all the extra florals that can be added. We've got Simply Blessed, thanks a whole bunch, thinking of you, you are in my prayers, with love, with some hearts. And so let's see the inspiration. Isn't this gorgeous? We've got Desert Rose, Papaya, Peach, periwinkle, sage, and jade going on this page. And again, one combination they probably never would have done, but when I see this, I go, oh, that's really pretty. I like here how they've added a large circle with the "You Were in My Prayers," a little bit of inking and splattering happening there. And then they've just layered up all those extra flowers and bits and bobs to create a wreath effect just by tucking them under the edge of that circle. Isn't that a really cool, easy way to make a wreath? You know, you don't have to try to make everything look perfect. You just tuck it under a circle. I think that's awesome. Pattern paper in behind and a couple layers of cardstock. Beautiful. There's that periwinkle diamond coming in again. We've got that cute little zip strip in the teeny tiny jade. There's some polka dots in the background, a white daisy hand-drawn, a little bit of inking, splattering. Coloring is all done with pencil crayon, I believe, looks like. And some layers of the shaped, stitched shapes that you're going to see. So 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, the little mail happening there. You've got mail. Down here, I think this one is totally cute. We've got that lovely pattern paper and a couple, or 3 circles have been cut out. And underneath, there's some peach cardstock, I think the light side of peach. And they probably even cut this circle out of that peach, and you just don't see it because it's hidden in behind the pattern paper. And then they did some hand-drawn lines to add some detail inside there, and then layering up. Even this little guy is kind of tucked underneath the edge of that circle, so he looks like he's traveling in behind. We've got "Don't Hurry, Be Happy." So cute. Even they've added some dots going around those little half circles that are added on top. And then there's that beautiful vase again. And this one has been paper pieced again with the same pattern papers over here. Inking in behind. Gorgeous coloring with the pencil crayons. I like how they distressed the edge of this white daisy. Added a little bit of a zip strip in behind the vase to give it a resting place. So it's not just floating. But then added the sentiment right on top, so it's kind of underlining the sentiment as well. Thanks a whole bunch, and there's a whole bunch of flowers. I love the layers of the pattern from the mix-ins, and then 2 kinds of green, the sage and the jade, and it creates just a really fun, it looks all minty. Makes me think of the, what is it, the Shamrock Shake that's just come out at McDonald's. I saw an announcement for that, and I thought, oh, my husband's going to say we should take the kids and get Shamrock Shakes. He says it every year. He can't eat the milkshakes, but he always wants to take the kids for Shamrock Shakes. We pretty much miss it every year, too. Now, on this page, we have some interesting stamp sets, not something that we've typically seen, and these are called Hand Heart Stamp Set. It says, "I love you." And if you'll look at this, those are not necessarily the same hand. It's not necessarily one person's hand. This one looks a little smaller, so it could be, you know, a couple or a parent and a child. Then we've got My Other Half, and this is called the Holding Pinkies stamp set. And then down here we've got the Hand in Hand stamp set, and it says Together. And then this one is the Baby's Grip stamp set. Always in My Heart. And then let's see the inspiration on here. You can see we've got some embossing happening. Well, I don't know if you can see, but I can see. There's little floral embossing happening in behind there on the mulberry cardstock. And then we've got some of that honey butter dot. This one is embossed, and that looks like Desert Rose. And then some pattern paper. I like how they mixed the cardstock embossed pattern, cardstock embossed pattern, but different embossing. And then layering up with toffee and white daisy, some inking in behind, and then some beautiful coloring on there, some glitter gems, and some of those beautiful peach hearts. And then over here, we've got some edge distressing. This is actually the mulberry cardstock, and it's had some stenciling done with the Swiss dot. You'll see that. I know I keep saying that. You'll see it. It's coming. This piece of the shortbread has been splattered and then edge distressed, the lovely heart on top, and that's probably the thin cut from that card making stamp set from the Let's Go Anywhere collection. They've just used it to cut out this some little flags sticking out the side, a few clear and bitty sparkles. And then down here we've got the pinky holding hands, one, and they've layered it up with a toffee circle that's been sanded. And then again, the desert rose, the peach, and the mulberry dovetailed ends. I like how they've made two sections using two different colors of cardstock and then layering up with pattern paper. That's a super cute idea. Here we've got the Swiss dot embossing in behind on the mulberry, and then some peach that's been sanded, and desert rose that's been sanded. Even the pattern paper looks like it's been sanded. Super cool. And then shortbread with some dovetails, and then of course our stamped image on top. Lots of fun techniques that you see when you look through the catalog and just kind of analyze what you see. You know, we've seen the sanding and the embossing and the stenciling, and you can get some great ideas. Even if you don't like that particular card, it can spark an idea for something else. Now in this page we have a stamp set called the Captured Happiness stamp set, and it's got oodles of words. And then down here at the bottom we've got the Decorative Shapes Thin Cuts, and there are 18 dies in this collection. Now this is one of the collections that if you try to find it on the website, it will say it's unavailable, it's sold out. But it also says that it's coming in March. So that's one of those ones that they didn't get their full order, their full shipment yet. So don't panic. It'll be available later on in March. Okay, so this Captured Happiness stamp set. We've got This Is the Best Life, Love This, Love Those Smiles, Happy, Too Cute, The Best, You Are the Best, You Are the Best with a heart, Brave, Oh So Beautiful, some diagonal stripes, Family Time, Laughter is the Best Medicine, Home, Love You, Love You, Love You with a heart. Then we've got Captured, My Cutie, Together, Remember, Hello, Everyday Happiness, The Life, and Love. So those are fun little extra stampy bits. Sorry, I keep wandering off this way because I keep forgetting that my camera is actually, off center from where I think it is. So lovely extra little bits that you can stamp and tuck into layouts or in your mini albums, or to create your own little picture my life card type thing, even to tuck in little places on a card. Now these dies here at the bottom, there are 3 banners of different sizes with little stitching on the dovetail end, 3 arrows with stitching. There are 2 florals, a tiny one and a big one. Then there's a tab with a stitch line. There's 2 circles with dots, not stitches, but dots. Then there are 2 hearts with dots. Then there's this sort of square that has the rounded edges on either side, kind of making it look leafy. And there's 2 sizes of that, and then a leaf in the center, and those are all stitched. And then the scalloped 2 squares, one larger than the other, with the stitching square in the center. So that's a beautiful collection of thin cuts. Obviously, you can see why the partial shipment sold out, because everybody was like, ooh, gotta have those. So here we have a collection of 6x8 layouts, which are great for doing those everyday life albums and grandma brag books, and even just nice little gifts for people. But also, it's a nice small size to hold. So if you're making an album for a younger child or an older adult, a 6x8 album is a lot more manageable to hold than a large 12x12 album. But it also is a nice footprint size for creating cute little layouts. So here we've got some of our mix-in patterns. We've used the word everyday stamped over and over again to make this lovely strip. Then a couple of photos, not even matted, just put on there. The heart says, love this. Laughter is the best I can't say the word, best medicine. And then over here, we've got some stenciling with the Swiss dot done across the bottom. That stamp with the diagonal stamped over and over again in the Journey ink. Then there's a piece of some sage cardstock there with some hand-drawn stitches, some Journey in the background for the photo mat. And then we've got stenciling on here. We've got, this is one of the stitch tags. We've got My Cutie stamped over and over again. And doesn't that look so cute? A little tab at the bottom. Then down here, we've got some pattern paper here, a zip strip, some gel pen. I like how we've got sort of 3 circles, but the center circle is actually this floral that has been cut out using those thin cuts. So that's the largest floral and then a circle. And it's been cut from pattern paper. There's those 2 little leaves from there, and then that scalloped frame, both scalloped frames. And then over here, and actually, the circles have been cut in the cardstock and the photos are put on behind. So you don't even have to cut a circle out of your photo. You just stick your photo in behind. Super cool. We got a little bit of a strip going on here with the sunshines. And then look how they used those angled, rounded cornered ones. They put them as diamond shapes on here. Isn't that super cool idea? A nice little pocket added on there with a tag that can be tucked in using the arrows, then stamping together across the bottom. We've got love, remember, so many fun things. All right, so that is the Captured Happiness and Decorative Shapes Thin Cuts. All right, next, we're getting there. Only a few pages left. So you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for me to explain this Swiss dot thing. So here on this page, we have a couple things going down here. The first one is the Swiss dot embossing folder and stencil. So you can get the folder only, the stencil only, or you can get the 2 together. So these are 4" by 4" embossing folder and stencil. So you can emboss something and you can sand it, you can stencil it, or you can use the stencil by itself. Then down here at the bottom, you've got Bitty Flowers embossing folder and stencil. So you can get the 2 together, or you can get the 2 separate. And you know what? These little stencils are like less than $3. How cool is that? And the embossing folders are less than $7. And the 2 together are less than 10. What a great deal. I, of course, had to get the Swiss dot one. And one of our door prizes for the event today is this Swiss dot embossing folder and stencil. So yay. Let me just grab it here so you can see the size. It's 4" by 4". So this is the embossing folder and stencil. So there's the cute little Swiss dot embossing folder. And then in there is the stencil that goes along with it. I won't pull it all out because that's a door prize. Don't want to mess it up. Hey Lynn, you're here. No worries. You can go back and watch on replay. We let people come in late. It's all good. And then over here we have the rain or shine stamp, and it also can come with some thin cuts. So we've got a lovely umbrella. There's Welcome Spring. You're the spring in my step. A gorgeous little cluster of florals. Rain or shine. You're always on my mind. And then some rain boots. And we've seen those rain boots a lot with paper piecing as well as the umbrella. And there's some little water droplets coming down. So I wanted to show you the inspiration on this because there's a couple things that I really like. So here we've got that pattern paper from the Mix-In collection on the back. And then if you look carefully at this layout, you will notice that we've got white daisy in a nice square here. But then we've got some sapphire going around here. But it's only going to there. And then down here, we have some mist. And I think that is super cool kind of juxtaposition on a page. It's not always got to be the same everywhere, right? It doesn't have to be all the way around. You can put a little bit here and a little bit there. Then we've got some strips, and they have used that little, what is it? The Bitty Flowers to emboss this sapphire and then sand off the tops. So you get those little white flowers showing. There's some stenciling with the Swiss dots. There's some embossing with the Swiss dots, and then some pine with just some stitching drawn on. Paper piecing on the umbrella. I love how they stack the boots and the florals together. Now this card I like because the umbrella is upside down. It's been paper pieced using some cardstock that has been embossed and then sanded. So it's got that little floral on there. and then they've tucked those flowers in behind, and they just stamped them in the bluebird and then just left it. They didn't color it. It says, "You are the spring in my step." It's got some of that cloud paper in the background. And then down here we've got the hearts tucked in there. They even did the raindrops kind of on an angle, so it looks like, pshoo. You know how the people say the rain was coming sideways? It almost looks that way. I like how they've added a couple little, that looks like journey or sapphire dots on top, sapphire. And then this sapphire piece has been embossed with the Swiss dot embossing folder. Now you wonder, because it's only a 4" by 4" embossing folder, how they managed to get something this size or this size. Well, in this case, they probably embossed this part and then embossed this part, and because they've got this strip going across, you don't see the join, right? Now on this one, you can actually take your embossing folder and do, and then move, and then move, and then move down the strip to create that look. And then down here, we've got 3 strips of different greens. We've got the light and the dark of limeade, and then some pine. This one's been embossed. This one has been stenciled. This one's just plain. Layered up with the periwinkle with some white gel pen. Very soft coloring on those florals and a little bit of edge inking on that circle. Super pretty. Joanne says, "April showers bring May flowers." They sure do. So there's those cute embossing and stencils and the stamp set. Now we're moving on. We've got some St. Patrick's Day inspiration happening here. So there are 3 sets on here. The first one is the Pot of Gold stamp set. Then we have the 2-hour grad stamp set. And then across the bottom, we've got the hooked on fishing stamps. And there's also thin cuts that go with that. So let's take a look at these. So the Pot of Gold, we've got our pot with our rainbow and our sparkles. Lucky, we've got a coin, a horseshoe. Lucky to know you, you are my lucky charm. There's a shamrock, and actually, technically, that's a 4-leaf clover. Shamrocks, I believe, have only 3 parts to the leaf. And then a little flower, wishing you a pot of gold. So that is the Pot of Gold stamp set. And then the 2-hour grad, I like, it's kind of a silhouette, and inside it says 2-hour grad. And then you've got the plasterboard hat, and then you've got a border of plasterboard hats too, because you know what? People are graduating this time of year. My daughter is going to be graduating out of grade 8, fingers crossed. She's already accepted into a arts program at high school, so that's exciting. Then we've got the hooked on fishing stamp. We've got a large dory or fishing boat happening there in the center. Then we've got a guy and a gal out doing their fishing. We've got hooked on fishing, rise and shine, it's fishing time. This is the life. Then we've got our fish. There's a lure, another lure, can of worms. You open a whole can of worms. You could do a whole different kind of page with that can of worms, that's for sure. And then a little bit of the cattails happening there. Super fun. And let's take a look at the inspiration. So this layout, remember, travel? Well, it can even be for fishing. Look at that gorgeous green pattern paper in the background on this layout. And then, of course, some torn paper at the bottom that gives you that sort of water look. So we've got sapphire and then the pattern paper. And then they've repeat stamped the lure all the way across for a fun border, layering up with a bit of a zip strip, some pine cardstock, some limeade, and we've got the rise and shine. It's fishing time with the little fish as an embellishment. Then we've got the whole little scene down here, the cattails and the boat, and this has been stamped and cut out of acorn paper, so you don't even really have to do much other than adding a bit of shadow. And then we've got our guy with a couple jumping fish happening there, his can of worms, an extra lure, some journaling. Pardon me. Down here at the bottom, we've got our St. Patrick's Day, lucky to know you. And I like how they've got these nice little scalloped edges going here. And then, of course, layering up with some jade and some limeade, a little bit of some glitter paper, tucking out from in behind, and of course some coloring with the color pencils. This one, it's interesting that the grad has been stamped in blue as opposed to black, which is kind of fun when you've got a stamp like this. you can make it match your school colors. And then we've got the border here. There's even some royal, some wisteria, and some sapphire pattern paper in there. A few little silver glitter gems. A lovely little card for a grad. I'm gonna turn the page and take a sip of my drink because I got a tickle in my throat. Anybody else have somebody graduating this year? My two boys have already graduated from high school, and one's in college. But Julia's grade 8. Alrighty. On this page, we have two different things. We have a huge set of sentiments, and then down at the bottom, we have some, let me get it correct. We have white die-cut word strips, khaki die-cut word strips, and sage die-cut word strips. Whew, that's a mouthful. But this stamp set up here is called One Fine Day, and I'm going to lift it up because there's a lot of stuff on here. We've got Best Mom Ever and Best Mum Ever. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Together. I Love You, Rain or Shine. Yay for Spring. One Fine Spring Day. Easter Sunday. Enjoy the Journey. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Congrats, grad. You are sunshine on a rainy day. Happy Easter. Congratulations. This way to the bunny trail. So proud of you, and you're my lucky charm. And then a couple little scatter stamps. Flower. This one actually is a shamrock. See, it's only got the 3. And then the heart. And these, it says they're available in 3 colors. These die-cut word strips were designed to fit stamp sentiments like those in the One Fine Day stamp set. So the full set is shown here. So you get different styles. So there's the dovetailed, but then there's also double-ended dovetail, and also these ones that look like the little brackets here. Okay, so those are already cut out word strips for you. So here we have some 6x6 layouts. I like that they give a variety in the catalog: 12x12, 6x8, 8.5 by 11. These are 6x6, and you can always tell. Just look down in the little corner here. Now, because they're 6x6, you can actually easily translate these into a 12x12. You just need really big pictures. All right, so we've got some layered up glacier and sea brick cardstock. We've got some pattern paper that have been cut in a circle. There's some espresso in there, which is really nice grounding color for these lighter spring colors. Some of the sunshine paper. I love the hand-drawn line. And then here we have one of the die-cut, what are they called again? Die-cut word strips with the stamping on it. It looks like it was actually stamped in, I was going to say espresso, but maybe it's black. And then here we've got some layered up strips of paper to create a really fun one big large dovetail. Isn't that a fun idea, where you take pattern paper, 2 different colors of cardstock, you do stitching with gel pen around there, and it creates one big fun colored dovetailed piece. And then, of course, layering up with some Seabrook and Glacier paper, a really large photo mat so you can add some sentiments, some of those stickers from Honey Bunny, and then that stamped out sentiment. Here, I love how they've taken a square, cut it on the diagonal, and then put it in. So we've got 2 pieces of a square of the papaya, and I like how they did the stitch line coming down and down this way and down this way. Creates a different shape. It doesn't just look like a triangle. It has that sort of, I want to say trapezoid shape. And then we've got some stenciling happening here and some pattern paper happening here. A couple little dovetailed pieces and a little swash of color in behind Mom. Here, I love all the layered up circles with pattern paper and stenciling. There's that espresso coming in again. Looks lovely behind all of the greens. You're my lucky charm. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Some of the embellishment green dots happening there. Beautiful. Okay, we are nearly there. Oh my goodness. Okay, this next page, don't panic. If you like this, it's unavailable on the website right now because I tried to buy it 2 weeks ago and it was unavailable. But it's coming back in March. So never fear, there will be opportunity to get it. This is the outlined alphabet thin cuts and the outlined number thin cuts. And you can also get them together as a bundle of both the alphabet and the number. And in here, there is a striped embossing folder. So where I've said there's striped embossing, that's where it came from. This is another 4" by 4" embossing folder. There's no stencil with this one. It's just a stripe. So, you know, it is what it is. So the outlined thin cuts, these are 1" tall alphabets and numbers, and you actually get 2 separate pieces out of each die. I didn't quite understand at first why they were calling it outline, because if you look at the die, it just looks like you're going to get the letter. But it is actually 2 pieces that comes out. And so here it's showing where they've done some embossing with this striped embossing folder and then layered up 2 different layers. Now this is the inside of what you get. So that's the inside piece. Now, you also get the outside piece. Look at that. So that's where you get that outline. So you actually get the outline of love, but then you also get the inside pieces for love. So it's like a twofer. Waste not, want not. So here you can see they've used some of the pattern paper from the mix-in collection. Here's a section of that, let me see, what is that? Sundance that's been used with that striped embossing and then sanded off. Some white gel pen added around this piece of pumpkin. And then there's even some inking in the background behind the word thanks. This little bit of a zip strip used as kind of like a washi tape. I love the more hand-drawn border there. And then down here, this layout, it's a 12 by 12 layout. It's got that beautiful green pattern paper. Look how much fun we've been getting out of that one particular pattern. And here in the title, you can see they've got the outline and the center as 2 different colors. So you just cut them out of 2 different colors, mix and match. And then the word together, they've done that layering that you saw up close on the other page. And then we've got some cardstock that's had that striped embossing. This piece has some gel pen. This one has some gel pen. And layered up with some torn pattern paper, some zip strips, some torn cardstock, a little circle for some journaling. Lots of fun there. I love all the strips behind here and some gel pen. Then a nice big banner with the word you, and that's been embossed with that diagonal stripe. And then, of course, the love is the outline. Down here, we have the word hi, and this, they've used everything. They've got an outline and the inside, 2 different colors, but they've offset them as well, and probably foam taped them and did some inking behind, and used the white gel pen to make some highlight marks. So many things happening in this. And then, of course, some fun offset layering with cardstock and pattern paper and zip strips. A little bit of that embossing in behind. So many cool ideas. So don't panic. They're out of stock, but they're coming back. Same with the re-inkers. There's a whole bunch of re-inkers that have sold out, but if you click on them, it'll say sold out first when you look for them. And then if you click on them, it'll say coming March. So they're coming back. Don't worry. Don't panic. Stamps of the month. For the month of March, we have the beautiful Just Chicken In stamp set. And then for April, we have the little hedgehogs. So let's take a look at the March one. It's got chicken. I'm so excited about the chicken with the little chicks. And then we've got a couple single chicks, one with an egg. And then a little group of buddies here. We've got Welcome Spring, Just Chicken In, Happy Easter, Hey Chick, and then a lovely daffodil growing there. Let's take a look at our inspiration. We've got some of that pattern paper from the mix-ins, layered up with some glacier and some white daisy inking in behind the Just Chicken In. These guys are beautifully colored, and I think they were actually maybe done with the honey butter ink and a water pen, a water brush, kind of like a watercolor. And then down here, we've got layers of limeade, the true color side and the lighter side, that have been snipped to look like grass and lightly sanded. You got to be careful when you're sanding with all those little snips there, because yeah, you might lose a bit. You might want to do your sanding first and then your snipping, and then lightly sand after, and then that strip of little leaves from the sticker sheet from Honey Bunny. And then we've got some pattern paper in behind this fun shape, which reminds me, we've had that shape before. Can't remember where it's from, but it might also be in a SVG crickety cut type thing. And then some inking in the background, colored up with that beautiful daffodil. A single little chick there. Happy Easter. A little bit of splattering and some embellishment with some dots. Then for the month of April, we have the little hedgehogs. There's 4 little hedgehogs in here. These 2 are together and they're holding on to this flower. This little guy's got his own, and it kind of looks like an umbrella, so they've also got some little raindrops. Then we've got this little guy who's kind of looking away with his flower there too. A couple extra leaves and a single flower, little dots. Hello, for a special, happy to call you friend. A little something for you. I'm so thankful for a friend like you. So here's our inspiration. You can see that diagonal embossing folder there, layered up with some mink cardstock. That's Lagoon. And beautiful coloring that looks like markers that I've used there. Inking in behind, and they did the hello in black and then the friend in the clover. And you can see they use those little dots just for little sort of background, little sun sprites or whatever you want to call them. Then we've got some stripy pattern paper, some torn clover across the bottom. And these have been stamped on clover and then used a little bit of marker. I'm so thankful for a friend like you. Aw, aren't they so cute? And of course, that one's available with thin cuts as well as the March one. Super fun. And that is the end of the catalog. Are you guys excited? Did you see things you liked? Some of you have already picked up the things that you liked. So that is super cool. Keep in mind that for today, I'm offering savings. If you put in an order of $60 or more, you get a savings of $10.95 on your shipping, and I reimburse that through e-transfer. So, yes, you can get that. So when you're looking on the website, though, you want to look at the Cardstock Carnival because good deals there. You want to look at the new stuff from the catalog. There's stuff in clearance. There's stuff all over the place. If there's something that you miss and you put in an order, send me a message to say, I put in my order, but I wanted to get. And I will try to keep checking every day, maybe even more than once a day, to see when that becomes available on the website. And then I'll message you right away so that you know when it's come back in stock, and as long as it is coming back in stock, and then I can let you know. But it's one of those things, like once we find it's come back in stock, you'll want to jump on it right quick. Because, like I said at the beginning, close to my heart is ceasing operations as of the end of June. The makers are all retiring the end of April, so you can order off my website until then. And then for May and June, when they're getting rid of all whatever is still left in stock, that is done directly from Close to My Heart. Yeah, so now don't worry. I'm still going to be doing my videos. I'm still going to be crafting. We're still going to do all of our regular events, even after April. No worries, and we will see where the journey takes us. But thank you so much for joining me for this catalog walkthrough, and I will be back on in, let me see, at 7:15 for some crafting. And there will be a few things posted in between. So we'll see you at 7:15. Toodaloo. Bye.